So what? So let's take a second so YouTube can determine that I've fucking stolen this music and they can like put a copyright claim on the video. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment. All right, I'm gonna recap. I'm gonna repeat that moment after I get off the phone with you. Right? This is like a little phone call. So I'm in Nebraska. Oh, all right. Tail end of a long trip. Not even the tail end, really. I mean, at the end of, technically, you know what? Yes, it is a tail end of a long trip. First off, shout out to Trent. Shout out to Crystal P. Shout out to the Bat. Shout out to Ono. Shout out to Kent Yusufovich. Shout out to Igor. Shout out to my brother, I think. Shout out to my sister and my mom. Shout out to, you know what, listen, typo negative, you S87. I'm addressing somebody who comments on my videos frequently. They have a typo negative thing as a typo negative logo as their avatar on their YouTube account, okay? I want to know who you are, but it sounds like ominous. Not like that. I'm just really curious because I think I know you. I think we know one another. I just don't know. I know you're not Bacon Exploder. I know you're not Justin Dykabor. I know you're not that fucking kid who flushed a Pilgrim statue down the toilet at Hobby Lobby? No, it was something else. I always thought that was a funny story. Also, shout out Ono if I didn't say her name. Anybody else I missed, I suck. I'm sorry. S87, I'm just... It's like, who is it, you know? I replied to one of your comments trying to say, who is this? I didn't say just who is this. Anyhow, tail end of a trip where I haven't made many videos. I made some videos when I was in New York having a bad time. I made some apologies about that video. I do have to make an apology video. I'm gonna do it before this where I apologize for saying mean things about people who have supernatural beliefs. Because I feel bad about it. That wasn't nice. It's a little bit, it's extremely dismissive and impolite of me. Anyhow, that's a different video. So I was having, God, these cows. I'm in Nebraska. Did I say that? I was having a bad time in New York and I made a video talking a lot of shit about it. You know what? New York's fine. It's fine. Really it is. It's still true. I don't think I'd live there and the stress is very real and everything else, but I'm on the tail end of the trip right now, okay? Which, if you don't know, the trip was I drove to New York from Utah, and then I stayed there for the better part. No, you know, it was like 3.5 weeks at the end of the day. I want to think it was longer. It wasn't. And then I went to Michigan to visit my family for about 5 days. It's like, what's going to happen up here with these trucks? There's just no telling. And that's okay. Yeah, there's nothing more to say about New York. It was fine in the end. And I really like going to like Forbidden Planet. Sort of like going to the Strand, sort of don't. Had a great time hanging with friends and eating good food. Turned vegan while I was there. I turned vegan. Okay? Which I guess I should say a little bit about, since it's consuming so much of my fucking thoughts. So much of my headspace. I already made Vegetarian Diatribe. Remember that video? That was the beginning of me turning vegan, okay? And I'm not going to make this annoying vegan diatribe video. I just want to briefly touch on it because it's just amazing that a person, in this case me, I can be so opposed to something like, let's just say, cruelty, confinement, dismemberment without anesthesia, torture, abject suffering. I can be so opposed to putting that on someone else, imposing that on someone else, or something, an animal, a person, and yet just compartmentalize it, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of meat eaters do it. I've done it. I just got done with like 4 or 5 years of doing it with beef. It's funny, I can't compartmentalize birds. I can do it with fish and beef, and that's it, and occasionally pork. And let me just say, I regret all of it. Fully regret it all. I'm not gonna, again, I want to make this brief. I'm not gonna try to fucking change your mind. But yeah, I finally, confluence, I've been using that word lately. Is that right? Confluence, a confluence of events? Is that like the fancy word for a combination of events? I'm going to Google it right now against my better judgment and against the law. Maybe I'll get into an accident. Let's see. Confluence. I want to see if I'm right. I think I am. The junction of two rivers, the act or process of merging. So I was wrong, it turns out. It's not the merging. Although these ideas kind of did merge. You know what? I'm going to make a fucking another video about veganism. I just want to say it's weighing heavy on my mind. And I wish somebody had screamed in my face about it. I wish somebody had, I don't know, made me watch a fucking PETA video or watch the movie Dominion or just done something to make me aware of what I was contributing to. Namely, again, torture, confinement, suffering of animals. I'm not for it. Okay. Again, I have so many thoughts on it. I'm not going to make this a veganism video. So what did I want to talk about? I haven't made any videos since I was in New York. I didn't make one going from New York to Michigan. I didn't make any in Michigan. I wanted to get out the video and film my nieces and nephews and family and stuff. But at the end of the day, I was like, I don't feel like getting the fucking camera out. You know, I don't feel like having to edit the videos. Sometimes I just want to have the raw experience without needing to capture it, right? You do that, you see my shirt, it's Kalashnikov. That's how Americans say it, at least, Kalashnikov. That's the K in AK-47, if you didn't know. It's a gun shirt. Does it make me a gun nut? I don't know. Speaking of, this is interesting. I didn't talk about this. There's a couple things that really fucked my head up lately, and I wasn't sure what to make of them. This fucking thing. All right, I guess this is good. I feel like a fat piece of shit, which is funny because I've lost a bunch of weight since going vegan. Which I know how typical, right? Of course he went vegan, you're saying. Looking at cows right now, actually. Fucking Nebraska, man. Yeah, one thing that happened, some of the things that happened I can't talk about because it's not that I don't want to make it personal, it's just there's things that happen with individuals that I have gone totally unaddressed, and they might go unaddressed, and I don't want to fucking make a one-sided video where I just talk about them. That's not really fair. Do I care? Do I care if it's fair? I got verbally attacked for liking guns. Okay, this is with a friend of mine that I got in touch with but we had a falling out and everything. It was not this time. We were falling out for years and years, and we hung out. And I gotta say, he did the thing, bless his heart, I still like him. It's not like he's gonna watch this anyway, but he did the thing where he brought it up. He did all the verbal attack, calling me a gun nut, which that's not really insulting. But he started saying, like, you pointing at me, being like, you want people to be able to go into schools and shoot teachers and kids. You want kids to get killed. Which we can just stop there before going into everything else. If that's your like position on what it means to like guns as a hobby, I don't know. I mean, it's just so, I wanted to say, do you really believe that, you know? But I never really got to talk, because what happens with the verbal attack like that, what happens is the person usually brings it up, they attack you, they do everything short of calling you actual like names and swear words. They kind of just want to put you down. It's all sensationalized. They are what I call activated in that moment, meaning they're fucking on and they're not going to turn off, so you might as well just exit the conversation. And if you try to respond to anything, or maybe you want to bring up a point of your own, maybe you'd like to respond to something that's being said, you might as well not, because A, they're not listening, B, they're going to interrupt you, and C, when I say they're not listening, it means they're not in the mode where they're going to be able to logically and sensibly comprehend anything you're saying. So I was in one such situation. It's just funny that it was about guns, because I do like guns, you know this. I live in Utah. It's a gun state. It's a red state. You can go in the desert, set up your fucking targets, and go shoot them with guns. And I guess what I want to say is I've heard of like the leftist or the liberal position on guns. I've heard of it in the news. I sort of knew about it, but I rarely have encountered it in person, and it was so eye-opening to just have this verbal attack happen, which is so, it's almost like, you know, this individual, again, he was like, you were saying you wouldn't want to move anywhere where you wouldn't have a gun, like you need to have a gun. And I tried to say like, well, I don't want to move anywhere where there's not a street hockey league. Like, to me, those are very similar. Street hockey is something I fucking love. I can't wait to that's actually one of the things I'm looking most forward to about getting back to Utah, is playing street hockey every Thursday night. It's one of the most fun things that's ever happened in my life. I love it, and I don't want to be without it. The same is kind of true of like guns. It's like going in the desert and shooting a gun is special. It's a special thing, and I don't want to move to a place where I'm not allowed to go shoot a gun in the desert or the fucking woods or whatever. Never to harm or inflict any harm or kill a fucking living being. I wouldn't shoot them because I don't want to fucking damage the fucking hearing of whoever lives in the woods or the desert. There's birds, there's lizards. I fucking respect their hearing. So I suppress my guns, which AKA a silencer. Another interesting thing, I was talking about another guy with guns, and he was like, I mentioned silencers, he's like, now that's illegal. And I was like, it's absolutely not. Like, it depends on where you live. Like, yeah, if you live in fucking Chicago, New York City, LA, I think all of California, like, yeah, there's states where silencers are completely illegal. But it's like, they're not illegal in Utah or fucking Arizona. In fact, they're so not illegal, the process by which you obtain one is by paying an extortion fee to the ATF. It's the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division of the federal government, if you didn't know. And passing this background check, and also going through this, it's different now, but it was crazy. It's like a year, sometimes a year and 2 or 3 months process to get one. It's just funny, like the things people automatically assume about shit. I guess that's true about a lot of stuff. All right, switching topics. I mean, again, conclusion. It was interesting to be unfairly verbally attacked with this crazy one-sided madness, wherein I wasn't allowed to respond. It threw me for a loop. I don't even know what to do with that. It's been so long since that happened. Let's talk about circumcision now. I'm switching gears. I'm circumcised. Most people in the United States are. I'm going to generalize. That might not be true, but I think it is. You do a little, once in a blue moon, you run across something. Maybe you watch that HBO show with my buddy Mark where you're reminded about circumcision. Or maybe you are walking in Union Square and they have the big truck out there about circumcision awareness. But if it's not, then it's not something you think about, right? You were born, your parents were given the information that it's a thing they should do for, by now, wholly disproven medical reasons that have no scientific basis whatsoever. And then you do some reading and it's like, oh, it's this archaic Bronze Age religious ritual. Oh, it was co-opted to tell parents it would help their kids stop masturbating. Meanwhile, yeah, I was walking through a museum with my mom and I was looking at these. I don't think about it that often. I don't think about circumcision. It's just not part of my thought process. But when I do think about it, I get really pissed off. Now let me just plainly state, let me tell you what happened first. I'm in the DIA, the Detroit Institute of Arts. It's an art museum. A lot of Renaissance paintings. A lot of naked babies. A lot of naked babies' dicks. And of course they're all uncircumcised. I guess they hadn't started mutilating people's genitals in those areas back then. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna say it for what it is, mutilating their genitals. You hear about it in Africa and people are fucking appalled, like, oh, they crudely slice off girls' clits with no anesthesia so that they don't get any pleasure from sex. Sounds pretty fucked up, right? Yeah, okay. Glad we're on the same page. But if we're not, that's okay too. Although, if you don't think that cutting off... I mean, look, they have their rituals, they have their culture. let me just point out, if you have a totally different opinion, that's okay, but it would be shocking to me if you thought that was like a good idea to mutilate a child's genitals. Just throwing that out there. So, I'm not at all saying like we need to go into these, you know, I don't know, Sierra Leone, Western Africa. I don't fucking know where it happens. Probably all over Africa. I'm not saying we need to go in there and fucking impose American cultural norms on them and you know, our social conventions on them at all. I'm just saying it's fucked up. And it's from, I'm pretty sure it's from lack of education, lack of information, which a lot of things is. It's like the fucking sun, or, you know, let's fucking, we gotta throw the science, we gotta have to kill the scientists who defied the church. That's from a lack of education or lack of understanding about the world around you. Burn the fucking witch. Kill the motherfucker who is playing the Locrian scale on guitar because it comes from Satan. How about killing the cats? Did you ever read about that? The cat's relationship to the Great Plague, the Black Plague? What is it? The Black Plague, right? If you don't know, it's somewhat speculative, okay? This is not a historical fact. Some of it is factual, but feel free to fast forward if you already know or don't care. But basically, during a certain era, which I can't say the years, I don't know, I'm not a fucking historian. I'm really bad at history, too. Like, I'm actually bad at it. During a certain time, the church, how does that for an opening? During a certain time, the church was like, these fucking black cats are evil. These black cats who are all over our fucking town or village, they're fucking bad. And maybe it was all cats, I know it was black cats, and they were like, therefore we have to kill them. They're like demons, or they're somehow related to like the dark side. Which, how fucking stupid, right? It's fucking pig ignorant idiocy. So, they're killing all these cats, and the cats, meanwhile, you know, that's what was keeping the rat population under control. They killed all these cats, rat population grew out of control, then they got the Black Plague. Again, feel free to go do a little reading and find out that that's not exactly true, or find out to what degree that is. There's some speculation in there. But if I'm not mistaken, that's considered a pretty valid theory of how the Black Plague was caused. What's my point? Again, just lack of information, lack of understanding of the world, lack of education. Although that one I hate to say, because maybe it's I have a bad attitude about it, because I had a really shitty education, and I know a lot of people who did. Fucking public education in suburban Michigan just was really bad. I don't even know why. I don't have an explanation for why. And that's all I need to say about that for now. But back to circumcision. So you read about it and you learn like, oh wow, like I'm missing a lot of nerve endings in my dick. You know, again, I don't want to just spew facts, but I'll just do them and go fact check them if I'm wrong, and then go ahead and please correct me on it. But you lose about 2/3 of the nerve endings in your penis when you get circumcised. If you do a little reading, and again, this is conjecture, it's just people talking on Reddit, but you hear that sex with a circumcised dick is about a 2 or a 3 out of 10 max, whereas an uncircumcised one, this is for the guy, the man's experience, could be like a 9 or a 10. And the picture just starts to come together when you ask your parents, hey, why'd you have me circumcised? And they're like, oh, the doctor said it prevents infection, whatever, it helps it be clean. If you really just picture, I mean, let's go, we got to backtrack for a second. Do you believe in creationism, or do you believe in evolution? I know my mom believes in creationism. Respect her beliefs. You're allowed to believe whatever you want. Pretty sure everybody else watching doesn't think man was created out of thin air, and then that Eve was created from Adam's rib. Like, we kind of acknowledge by now this is a fairy tale, essentially, which is a mean way of saying a fable, or that the Bible doesn't really have any factual basis in reality. And again, somebody like my mom, who's watching this right now, believes the Bible is a history book, and her beliefs should be respected, okay? Anybody's beliefs should, to some degree, be respected. Again, so back to the rest of us, we don't consider the Bible a history book. hate to group you in with me when I say the rest of us, but I'm going to assume you're like, you know, you don't think the world is 5,000 years old. You don't think we were like snapped into existence magically. And you probably don't believe in an omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, fucking bearded male deity. Right? If my brother's watching, I know that he does, and I want to be respectful of his beliefs too. So everybody else is like some version of evolution, right? Maybe you think there was something extra in there. Maybe you think there was like involvement with ancient aliens. Maybe you can correctly assume we don't know everything about it and it's only a theory because it can't be proven. But if you know a little bit about evolutionary theory, you know that it's theory that, although it cannot be proven for a number of reasons that I think are kind of obvious, it's taken as fact. It's taken for granted that it's like the valid, most reasonable, correctly point at the information, the data, and draw a conclusion. It's valid. We evolved. We're monkeys. We're apes. We're not like apes, we are apes. We're not like animals, we are animals. Those are, I hate to say facts, but those are facts. It's funny though, because again, my education, a lot of people, they don't regard themselves, and I understand why. You're conditioned to think I'm not an animal, and especially like I'm not an ape. So it's just funny why that thinking that you're an animal should be such a foreign concept when it's literally what you are. Look, I use literally in the, I think, non-bullshit way. I literally couldn't even listen anymore. Yeah, right? So, assuming that you think evolution happened, then you have a foreskin around your dick for a reason. And it's not a bullshit reason if it took, you imagine how many fucking years it took before your dick had a foreskin on it? It probably took a really long time before your dick even was like on the outside of the human body. Like fucking millions of years and shit. So, let's just say you believe in evolution and the foreskin was a good idea. It has a purpose and it's an important part of the human body, like anything else. If you believe in creationism, my mom and my brother, and I guess there might be others watching, then I'm assuming you believe that God created a perfect baby boy or baby girl, right? I mean, let's just go ahead and say a healthy one, because you can certainly be born pretty fucked up. So the notion of then taking, so I'm sorry, this is long-winded. The notion of then like, go watch a circumcision video, I'm assuming you can. They use a thing that's like a cigar cutter, essentially. They pull the foreskin over the dick and they fucking cut it off. And it's extraordinarily painful for the baby. Okay? What the fuck am I talking about? I guess I'm just, if maybe you didn't know anything about it, alright? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm mad about it. Oh, so I'm in the museum with my mom, and I'm like, I gotta stop looking at this painting. I'm starting to get really pissed off that I was circumcised. Why? She wants to know why. And I was even more angry, because it's like, why do I even need to be fucking questioned on this? But okay, let's go there. Why am I angry that I had my genitals mutilated as a baby without my consent? Before I could even fucking offer consent on the topic? Do I need to explain that? Anyhow, moving on from circumcision, but I've been pissed off about it for like, I don't know, a little while. Are you still watching this? I got obsessed with this video when I was in New York. You know Channel 5, Andrew Callahan, right? Formerly All Gas, No Brakes. I think everybody does by now. It's very popular. There's a video where this girl is like on Xanax and she's talking, I think it's outside of Complex Con, which is another great video of his. And she's just talking about cheating on her boyfriend and getting arrested and then hitting on the cop. And I was fucking mesmerized. And it's like, all right, she's outrageously hot. She's not the typical kind of like girl that I would usually get obsessed with, but oh my God. She's so hot. But there's something more about it. It's the thing that she's saying, and she's hated. She's so hated in the comments. People are like, this is utter street trash. Like, this is a fucking garbage human. Which I think's a little unfair. Have you never fucking cheated on somebody before? Are you perfect? You know? But there's one part where she's like, the cop arrested me, was super cute. And there's some break in her fucking, like, I'm gonna guess she's looking like, I can't fucking tell. She could be a little bit Asian. She could be a little bit Indian. A little bit Latina. I don't fucking know. But all of a sudden there's this break and we're in her talking. She sounds like trashy white girl, but then she's like, and the cop arrested me, was super cute. And I was just like, whoa. Like, there's this accent break. Oh God, what's it called? I can't even reference it. I'll fucking put a link in the description below. I hope I remember to do that. I think it's girl talks about cheating on her boyfriend and getting arrested. Like, if you just type that in, that's gonna pop it up. She's hot, alright? Just a fucking dumb guy at the end of the day. What else did I want to talk about? What's next in life? I don't want to get into, like, I'm feeling this stuff about playing live shows and performing. And you know what? Fuck it, I will talk about it. I was listening to a lot of music and a lot of podcasts. I tried one audiobook. It still doesn't work for me. I've done it, but largely the audiobook format does not work for me. I like radio plays, obviously. Hashtag The Forgotten Room, episode 2. So some of my music comes up, and when I listen to my playlist, and I was listening to my song Friends from the School album, and listened to a couple other songs, and I was just like, I'm always reminded, I'm like, God, I fucked up so bad. I fucked up so bad by not relentlessly playing live shows to promote my material. It's legitimately, this is a theory, but I totally believe, it's legitimately the reason why I don't have a shitload of money. And it's legitimately the reason why my music is not popular, and why I don't have a career as a music artist. I actually believe that. And I could explain why, but I don't think I need to. If you want to challenge it, go ahead. Which, by the way, this is really interesting. I was reading this book, Jernigan, by David Gates, which is really good. His fucking voice is awesome. Isn't it funny how you read a fiction book and you just learn things from it? I learn more from fiction than I do from nonfiction. So I'm reading Jernigan, and, you know, the main character, his kid is, like, learning to play guitar. And he starts asking, why don't you join a band? Why don't you do this? And then he realized, he's like, oh shit, I'm just giving him shit. Like, I'm just giving this kid shit, that's all I'm doing. And in this moment I realized, oh my God, there's so many cows here. It's fucking sad. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to go bleeding heart animal rights lover on you, but I am now. It's what I've become seemingly overnight, even though it hasn't been. But God, this is fucked up. There's fucking thousands of cows here. Wow, fucking sad. I mean, I don't think they're there to just enjoy their life. I'm sure you get carted off to the killing floor. Okay. My God, moving on. I'm just sad. I'm sad now. The thing I was going to say about David Gates' Jernigan book, I realize I do that, and I resent the fact that I do it, but now I'm gonna try to be aware that I'm doing it. And I do that. You ask people questions under the guise of, I'm just asking questions, I just want to understand it. No, I'm giving them shit. I'm giving them shit, and I don't want to admit it, and I don't want to admit it to myself or to them. I want to give somebody shit about their thing. I want to challenge it. I want to dismiss it. I want to put it down. But I don't want to do that openly, so I hide behind asking them questions. Do you do that? It's kind of amazing to me to fucking learn that's what I do. Again, this isn't self-help. This wasn't a fucking self-help book. This is fucking abstract. I guess we'll have to turn it off. I'll just give you a few other points here. I don't know what's coming next. I'm gonna learn how to take care of chickens and goats. That is coming next. Like, as in, I get back tonight. tomorrow morning I'm fucking emailing these 2 people, and I'm just like, I'm back. I'm ready to volunteer to take care of your chickens and goats because I want to learn. Why? Because I want to have I think at least, I want to have a little animal sanctuary, a little hobby farm. I want to have some chickens and some goats and pigs that I save. Oh, you go to save your complex? No, I've had some very special experiences with animals lately, and I'm feeling a lot of regret and a colossal amount of guilt over the amount of suffering that I've caused animals. All right, there. Can I say that any more plainly? So I don't know. I gotta leave Utah eventually. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I think within a year. I can't even talk about that. It's exhausting. I don't mean the animals. I mean moving. Moving is, oh my God. I don't need fucking work. My work is so fucking slow that I'm having to really recalibrate and figure out what I want to do. You know, the smart financial thing is to hustle up some new work from the internet, which I hate doing, but I can do it. I could do it. But I don't want to do it. I fucking hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. And what's the result in the end? More work from home by myself. I feel like I'm reaching a point of life where I don't want that anymore. You know, I've done it for a really long time. Although, to be fair, a lot of that, I used to work in person with people, and it was great. Not really, though. For the last almost 4 years, I've just been working alone in a room, and I don't fucking like it. I like it in terms of its benefits, which I'm not even going to get into. There's many. But I don't like not being around people. I don't like not connecting with people. And I feel as though just fucking like working for a plumbing contractor or trying to learn how to become like a service plumber or fuck it, work at fucking Taco Bell. Bad example, because I'm sure that's not a fun job, but I just feel like I need to interact with humanity again. Which is funny considering I've had such fucking horrendous experiences with humanity lately. God, people equals shit. Slipknot really had that right. I know, that's a bad opinion to have. Everybody has good and everybody has bad, and oh boy, is that really ever just true. Nobody's perfect. There are some fucking bad people, though. Did you hear that? That's the fucking road. I gotta tell you, I was driving over some roads last night. It was musical. It was fucking incredible. It had the ridges in the road. I don't know what the fuck all this traffic was about. It had the ridges on the road, and it was like caution graded fucking road or whatever. I turned the music off, and I heard it. It was one of the coolest sounding things I've ever heard. That was somewhere in Nebraska, I think. Iowa. It was fucking beautiful, man. Ugh. I know it sounds ridiculous to think that about your car traveling on a road, but there were these ridges, and it was producing this almost like disturbing religious chanting. It was fucking amazing. I wish I had like clocked where I was. I wish I could just listen to a recording of it. It was really disturbing. All right, I'm talking about the sound that a road makes being disturbing. I guess I'll go now. I don't even know if I had that much to say to begin with. Not willing to go into a really intense animal rights diatribe. It's kind of a topic for me and my therapist, actually. We talked about it. I do talk to individuals about it. Alright. Yeah, I'm too like... You say contemplative or do you say contemplative? I'm too contemplative to really formulate coherent thoughts that are going to really make any sense for you or be of any worth. And this is 35 minutes already. Did you get an update, kind of? Do you even care? Like, what is this? You're still watching the video at 35 minutes in. I love you. What is this channel for? Like, why do I have a YouTube channel? You know, once upon a time it was like, oh, it's an avenue to get my stuff out there, and it still is. But now, it's largely just talking videos where I'm talking about like a bunch of bullshit. But they're not popular. They're the most popular thing I do on my YouTube channel. But in the scope of things, they're not popular. Nobody gives a shit about them. I'm lucky if they get 50 views. Look, we all know the answer. We know that I want to express myself, that I share it with you. And if, you know what, if there's 50 people watching, if there's fucking 5 people watching, I'm cool with that. And I like it, and it's worth something to me. I don't know. All right, that sounds like a conclusive thought. Let's see what's playing on the radio now. Still this thing.